I'm so thrilled to be introducing our next guest, Michael Murphy. And I'm so glad that he agreed to be part of this event. The book he has written and the foundation that he has created are all about the healing power of love. Michael's wife, Margot, lost her battle with cancer in 2012, and as you can imagine, this was a transformational experience for Michael. It inspired him to write a beautiful book called Love Unfiltered, which he dedicated to her. I read this book, and it was very heartwarming, but it was also very profound, with some beautiful truths about life. His book touches on universal human experiences such as healing, childhood wounds, overcoming fear, dealing with grief, and searching for meaning. Michael is also a professional blogger, author, speaker, whose true passion in life is to serve and inspire others to serve. Mike has 4 beautiful children and 3 amazing grandchildren. He loves to spend time with the clients of the foundation, practice Bikram yoga, golf, and travel. Well-rounded guy, right on. I also want to thank Michael because he contributed so much to making this event the success that it is today. So thanks very much, Michael. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Not only survived cancer, but now has a foundation that serves others. Please join me in thanking Sandra for what she does for the world. So before I tell you who I am, allow me to share with you why I'm here. I'm here because I care and I'm greatly concerned for our country and for our planet. And I really believe that we all need to join together to shift the consciousness, and I'll talk about that in a few moments. My intention for the next few moments as I speak is to share with you how through a tragic event in my life, I got to learn that really love is the answer. And what the world needs now, if I quote the Beatles, is more love. And love can transform any situation we ever find ourselves in. But we need to understand what real love is. And the other reason I'm here is just to share my story and try to inspire others to live and give back to the world. So who am I? Well, my best accomplishment probably was being involved in raising these 4 children. I am blessed to have 4 amazing children. Michelle, who's here today, Michael, who's here today, and Christopher and Kelly. See, I grew up in an era where people had names like Mike, Chris, Kelly. Okay. But I'm also very, very proud to be the grandfather of these 3 children that grow up in an era where you have different names, like Sailor and Hudson and Sutton. So when those children were named that, I was like, whoa, please, Michelle. But now, to be honest with you, I love those names, and they fit their personality to a T. I'm also an author, wrote this book. I didn't start out writing this book. I started out writing a book about my wife and her journey and how amazingly courageous she was and how she taught me about the power of love and taught me about courage. But in the middle of writing that book, which I just completed, I had to stop and I had to write this book because I had to share my story to put into context what I learned and how it came to be. So for those of you here today, if you'd like to leave, I'd be happy to give you one, sign it. And if you know somebody that's going in the wrong direction or needs inspiration, this is a great book, as you'll see in a few moments as I share my story. I'm also excited because we did a big promotion this week. This book was actually published in September of last year, but we've done a big promotion. Amazing what pricing will do. So we've been promoting at 99 cents on Kindle for a download, and I woke up this morning, it was 24th on Amazon out of 4 million books. It was #1 in self-improvement, inspiration, and leadership management. So, thank you. As I like to say, even a blind squirrel finds an acorn once in a while. I'm also a businessman. I've been a successful businessman for most of my adult life once I got my life straightened out. And I have a Volkswagen dealership and a few other businesses. So in reality, I am the American dream. I started with nothing. Probably started with a few liabilities that I could have done without. And I learned how to really manifest. Somebody blessed me with the teaching of how to manifest or attract anything I wanted into my life. I took it to heart. I also was blessed to have a father that taught me a very strong work ethic. He said, if you're going to do something, do it right or don't do it at all. So I really believe the American dream is hard work, but to have a plan. And I'm going to show you how to get a plan. My other intention for you is I want to share with you this morning what I call the creation frequency. And it's 7 steps that you can literally use to tap into the power of the universe, the creator, the one infinite mind, and get whatever you want in your life. So I'm excited to share that with you. So really, I have everything I ever dreamt of, everything anybody could ever want. I mean, I have a fantastic life. I'm blessed with great family. I have the ability to travel and do what I love. But I have to be honest with you. I'm very sad, and I'm very mad. And it has to do with what I see going on in this country and what I see going on in the world. And also, as I share with you, I also have a nonprofit. And so I'm exposed to things that most people aren't exposed to. So I see the world in a different light. And I'm going to share that with you in a moment. But I'm sad for 3 reasons. And I touched on it a little bit, but the number 1 reason I'm sad is that my children don't have the same opportunity in America today that I had growing up. Today's America is not the America I grew up with. I grew up with Leave It to Beaver, and the kids stayed out all day and played until the lights on the street came on, and then we go home. And parents didn't worry whether we were being kidnapped and stolen and stuff like that I grew up when I raised my children. But I see it even worse now. So the second reason I'm mad is I don't see much of a future for my grandchildren if we don't shift what's happening, and it's up to us. We can't count on the government. The government, all they want to do is create more victims. It's us, the people, that have to wake up spiritually, consciously, in a spirit of love and service. And the third reason I'm sad is because of the work I do. Similar to Sandra, I have a nonprofit, and I work with women below the poverty line that are battling cancer. So I see stuff you can't believe. There is no safety net. The system is broke, and it's staggering what's going on. And, cancer is caused by toxicity, and what's the cure? More toxicity in the form of chemotherapy, radiation, and trauma from surgery. And so I'm passionate about what I do because I'm passionate about these women because they might be financially poor, but they are full of courage, like you saw from Sandra, and they're full of love. And the cancer changes their life and wakes them up. And I see it time after time after time. But the system is broke, and the cure is not good. And so, like what Sandra does, we're shifting. We used to give emergency financial grants. We're shifting to where we give education, we give water purifiers, we give juicers, we give supplements, we give Chinese herbs, we give nutrition, and those kind of things. Because I got tired of putting a Band-Aid on a moral wound. So now I want to try to bring health to a serious situation. Here's one example of what we do. This is the Johnson-Ing family. And Miriam Ing walked into my office over a year ago now. And she called me on the phone and said, I'd like to apply for a grant, if that's okay. And I said, sure, but I have a policy. I have to meet with every client before we give a grant. She said, I'm in so much pain, I don't know if I can come from San Francisco to Oakland. I said, well, we can come over there. She goes, oh, well, wait, let me call my husband. So she called her husband, and she said, okay, we'll be there tomorrow. And when Miriam walked into my office, with Johnson practically carrying her, where she used to have a left breast, she now had a watermelon-sized tumor. And every step she took was excruciating. But she sat in our office, and we gave her a financial grant, and my dear friend Samir, who's here today, said, she told us that she had 10 children at the time, aged 3 to 20. And Samir, who has a big heart, said, we'd love to come meet your children and see where you live and how it goes. And it was right before Christmas, not this recent one, the one before. And so we ended up going over there. Christmas on that year was on a Wednesday. We went over on a Sunday with a bunch of gifts and Santa Claus, and we walked into a 1,200 square foot apartment in South San Francisco where Miriam and Johnson and their 10 children lived. And I have to tell you, I was blown away by these children, every single one. Look you in the eye, firm handshake, even the little one, Gigi. And we were just touched by this family so full of love. And Miriam, as sick as she was, and she couldn't even really enjoy the celebration, she was in the bedroom resting, and they carried her out midway to experience this. And it was just a beautiful, touching moment that I'll never forget. Unfortunately, 2 days after Christmas, on Saturday, Miriam passed away at home. And one of the first people that her husband Johnson called was Samir to say, hey, thank you. Thank you for what your foundation did. Thank you for what you did for my wife and our family. So we still stay in touch with this family. We just had lunch with Johnson last week and trying to encourage him to come join our family and be part of our foundation. And we took these 10 children out who, could you imagine? 50 years old, raising 10 children that are now age 4 to 21. I mean, we have to support this man no matter what. Here's another client that I met early on in the foundation. Her name was Renee. Renee was 33 when I met her, breast cancer. And she had one request. She actually became a dear friend, and she introduced me to the Shanti Project in San Francisco that's a nonprofit that's been around for 40 years. In fact, they were the first HIV/AIDS foundation in the world. And our foundation fell in love with them through Renee, and we gave them a sizable grant so that they could hire 2 more breast cancer advocates to serve the epidemic of breast cancer that's going on in the city of San Francisco. So we love Shanti Project, and we love Renee, and she introduced us to Shanti. When Renee, at the end of her life, got very sick, she just had one request. She said, Mike, can you make sure that I don't die alone in a hospital? Because she was estranged from her family. So our foundation paid for round-the-clock nursing care for 30 days until she finally passed on. This young woman here, we also do this in Cathedral City, Palm Springs area, where it's just, you talk about an epidemic because of the chemicals, and most of our clients are Hispanic, and they either work in the fields, picking our produce, or they work in a hotel room, cleaning our sheets, or they work on a golf course. And guess what? Every situation they're exposed to chemical. There's 154 known chemicals that cause breast cancer. This young woman, Rachel, came to us, and she'd just given birth and just found out that she had cervical cancer. What breaks my heart about Rachel is it was diagnosed before she was very long in her pregnancy, and they missed it. They missed the report that she had cervical cancer. So while the baby was growing in her womb, the tumor was growing. And she had a terrible pregnancy, rushed 4 times to the emergency room. And she passed away 18 months after her son was born. But these are the kind of things we see, these are the kind of things we do, and this is the kind of things that we try to bring love and encouragement and some more support to. This beautiful young girl here, Stephanie, sitting with her mother, I met with her in a Wendy's restaurant in Palm Desert, California. The next day, her class was graduating from the 8th grade. She didn't attend one day of the 8th grade because she was fighting leukemia. The following day, while they were graduating, she was going into a hospital to receive 24-hour infusion of chemotherapy. 24 hours. So toxic that she has to be watched round the clock for a week to make sure the chemo doesn't kill her. I'm glad to say, and I'm happy to say, that she's doing fine now, and she got through this, and she's an amazingly beautiful person, and her hair's growing back. So here's just a few others of what we do. I could go on and on and on, and every story is just as dramatic as the next. The woman standing next to me, Highland Hospital, Oakland, the county hospital, they kept her an extra week because she was homeless when she came in for her surgery. The day I met her, she still had a pump draining, and they were releasing her back to the street. Our foundation got her a hotel room so that she could get back on her feet. I could go on and on and on and on. You know, we've also been blessed, what I call outliers, that 3 young men came to our foundation. One we actually rescued off the streets of San Francisco after he'd been spending 2 years there in the Tenderloin shooting heroin. So we've paid for 3 young men to go to heroin rehab, and I'm so happy to say that all 3 are doing extremely well today. They got their life back on track. And you talk about an insidious disease, okay, heroin abuse, and guess what? Guess what we give cancer patients? You know, heroin in a pill. You know, I mean, they give it everywhere. It's not just cancer patients. So there's a huge epidemic, heroin. So here's the woman that started it all. Her name is Amanda. I met Amanda in the summer of 2011 when a friend called and said, you know, my sister-in-law moving here from Wyoming. She's stage 4 breast cancer. She's 38. She has 3 young, beautiful daughters. I know you know a lot about breast cancer. Do you think you could help her out? And I said, sure. I'll take her to our oncologist and see what we can do. So he ordered tests, which they always do, even though she just had them done a few weeks ago. More money for the system. So I spent 2 months with Amanda, going from hospital to doctor's office, and really spent a lot of time with her and got to know her, and really fell in love with her spirit and her life and who she was. And this was before I had a foundation. And after 2 months of these tests, we went back to the oncologist that I knew, and he said, Amanda, the best protocol to extend your life are these 3 chemotherapies simultaneously. Unfortunately, your insurance will only pay for 1, so that's all I can give you. I was blown away by that. I didn't realize the world worked like that. You know, Martin Luther King said, an injustice anywhere and is assault to justice everywhere. And what I saw for those 2 months with Amanda was injustice. See, Amanda was a minority. She didn't have a husband. She didn't have a good insurance. She didn't have resources. And they either talked over her head or they talked down to her. But all I could do was sit there silently and watch and observe because I had no position there. I was just there as a friend. But when the doctor said that to her, I instinctively pulled a credit card out of my pocket and I said, Doctor, you give Amanda whatever it is she needs. Unbeknownst to me, that was the seed of what is now the Love for Margot Foundation. And I've sat directly with 80 women and gone through the battle with them. And indirectly through Shanti and other partners like Gilda's Club in Palm Springs that we provide financial grants to, indirectly we've helped hundreds of other women. But that's not enough. So now the calling is greater, and it's really about waking people up to what's really going on, because it's just a matter of time until it's one of our turn. 1 out of 2 men in this country get cancer. It's headed to everyone. 1 out of 3 women get cancer. Why? It's the toxicity in the environment. So we need to detox and take care of ourselves. Here's Amanda and I 18 months later, after I first met her. I was privileged to sit at her deathbed. I think it's one of the most sacred things we can ever do for someone, is to be there while they're making a transition into another dimension. And the whole time she finally lost consciousness, and I would sit by her bedside in her sister's home in San Ramon, and I'd gently rub her little hand while she was unconscious, thinking that I was blessing her. Unbeknownst to me, when she passed, the blessing I received from somewhere beyond this physical realm shook my whole life upside down. So the women that we've lost, which is about 10 now, of the 80 that I've met, they're here, they're with us. Their love, their spirit carries on. One of the most courageous things I've ever done, and I'm not very courageous, is to gather her 3 children. And I sat her up, and the 3 children hugged her and got to say goodbye to their mother. Because, see, that's vitally important too. So that Amanda could leave in peace, and that these children could know that they got to tell their mother, goodbye, I love you. And then there's this woman. Now, I didn't see this picture until about a year after this woman had surgery. I didn't see this picture till a year after this woman had passed away. And when I saw this picture, I was horrified. And it was ugly. And it was disturbing. And what blew my mind, and still blows my mind to this day, is I'm the one that took that picture. But I didn't see this when I took that picture. I saw this. My wife, Margot. And that's what blew me away. All those times, all those hospital rooms, all these surgeries, all I ever saw was beauty, love. Not physical beauty, love, and courage. So the woman changed my life. And I'll get to more of that in a moment. But Lao Tzu said, being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Now, I don't know how much strength and courage Margot got from my love, but I can tell you how much courage and strength I've gotten from her love and from losing her and realizing. You know, Margot and I probably really never should have even been together. We had to go through hell just to be together. And someone earlier spoke of a love story and their soulmate, you know. And Plato taught that we're one soul cut in half. And we spend many lifetimes looking for the other half. He called it twin flames. It's a little different than a soulmate. Twin flames there's a reason they call it twin flames, because where she was strong, I was strong, and where I was weak, she was weak. So that caused an amazing amount of love, but it also caused an amazing amount of conflict. But I'm convinced without a doubt that we were meant to be. And everything that we went through to be together and the price we paid was worth it. In the 9 years, of the 10 years we were together, 9 years she battled breast cancer. Never once complained, never once asked, why me? Amazing, courageous, strong, beautiful person that transformed my life. And now, because of her life, others, just like Sandra said, because of her experience, others are now being touched by the power of love and grace and given hope and courage. That's our role. That's who we are. A lot of people say, Mike, you know, you're brave, you're courageous for what you do. No, I'm really not. I have to be honest. You know, you might remember this fellow from The Wizard of Oz, the Cowardly Lion. You know, so if I were to put myself in a category, I would fall more in this category than the category of my courageous wife. And then recently I ran across an amazing story. Has anybody ever heard the name Rachel Corrie? Yeah, most haven't. I'd like to introduce you to her. I'm going to introduce you to her when she was 10 years old in the 5th grade. And she gave a speech to her school. I apologize for the poor quality. It's good here, but it doesn't translate too good to the screen. But listen and hear her words.
I'm here for other children. I'm here because I care. I'm here because children everywhere are suffering, and because 40,000 people die each day from hunger. I'm here because those people are mostly children. We have got to understand that the poor are all around us, and we're ignoring them. We have got to understand that these deaths are preventable. We have got to understand that people in third world countries think and care and smile and cry just like us. But we've got to understand that they are us. We are them. My dream is to stop hunger by the year 2000. My dream is to give the poor a chance. My dream is to save the 40,000 people who die each day. My dream can and will come true if we all look into the future and see the light that shines there.
They are us and we are them. In a few moments I'm going to talk more about that, how there is no separation. But let me continue with Rachel's story. You know, I'm sure if I spent a few moments with each one of you here today, and I know it's true for me, and I took you back to that little 10-year-old body, with that 10-year-old little heart, that 10-year-old little soul, and that 10-year-old little dreams, and the world was perfect and beautiful because you knew who you were, you remembered where you came from, and you still believed in it. and you hadn't been beaten down and beaten down and beaten down and taught a bunch of lies? Every one of you are probably a Rachel Corrie when you were 10 years old. I know I was. I wanted to go out and change the world. I wanted to love and serve. I wanted to do all this stuff, but then what happens? We go to junior high and high school, and we lose our self-esteem. In the world, we wake up to the reality of the world. Well, Rachel had true courage. This is Rachel, 13 years later, standing in front of a Caterpillar bulldozer in Palestine, where a soldier is getting ready to demolish another home of an innocent family, a doctor, his wife, and their 2 children. And there she is standing in front of this bulldozer with a megaphone saying, "No, not today, not here." And then she slipped. And the guy kept driving. And when he was over her, he backed up until she was dead. See, that's courage. If you want to be inspired, Google Rachel Corrie. Read the letters that she wrote from Palestine to her family. How she'd love to be dancing to Pat Benatar and going on dates. But she was called to be there because she had courage. Courage. This is the courage that we need to change the world, to shift where we are headed and get back to who we really are. It's easy to love somebody like Rachel Corrie. But in reality, we're all Rachel Corries. Even in our worst moments, we are courageous if we just remember who we really are. This is a book I started to write 2 months after my wife had passed. It's completed now. It'll be out in 9-10 months. But if you ever want to read an amazing, courageous story about an amazing, courageous woman, this book is powerful. So that's why I'm sad. I'm sad because I'm worried and concerned and I care about the future. Dietrich Bonhoeffer was a saintly man that lived in Germany during World War II. He could have left. He wasn't Jewish. He was successful. But he stayed to fight for the Jewish people. And he ended up in a concentration camp. And he said, "A righteous man lives for the next generation." A righteous man lives for the next generation. Well, I can't claim to be righteous, but I can claim to be concerned and to care about the future of your children, your grandchildren, their children, and mine. So why am I mad? I'm mad because it doesn't have to be this way. See, I know this firsthand that it doesn't have to be this way. How do I know? Well, that's me. That's me as a baby. And that's me as a 14-year-old boy. Now, I share this with you because, see, it's easy to program the mind. That's why we got to get to the heart and the soul. See, that's me with a quart of Schlitz beer in 1958 and a cigarette hanging out of my mouth, and my mother, who, don't judge her because she was a saintly woman, believe me, okay? My dad was the problem. Said, learning young, just like mommy and daddy. So that was my future, and I embraced it. I embraced it so much but here was the problem. My father was an alcoholic. We can't blame him. He was a victim. Both of his parents were alcoholics. I just had one. He became a ward of the state of California because his parents could not raise him. But at 14, all I knew is what I was experiencing in the house didn't resonate with the true me, my heart and my soul. So I left. I knew I had to go, and I ran away. So I got on a bus in downtown Cincinnati, and I got off 2 hours later, 100 miles south in Lexington, Kentucky, with $4 in my pocket, no job, no place to stay, no future. I was fortunate a Catholic priest picked me up. He said, "Hey, what's your deal?" I said, "Well, my parents were killed in an automobile accident. Me and my 4 siblings are living in an orphanage. I didn't like the way they treated us, so I ran away." Well, that was all BS, okay, but I was a really good BSer, and ironically, I became a car salesman. But I share this with you because I want you to relate to the pain that this 14-year-old kid was going through. Couldn't identify it, couldn't communicate it, just knew it was wrong. But that put a pattern in my life where I was always running away. I was always getting arrested. In my teenage years, before I became an adult at 18, I was arrested over half a dozen times. I had 8 automobile accidents, all alcohol related. I was a mess. Then, somehow, by the grace of God, I found some woman to marry me at the age of 21, and we had a child. And then I was such a loser, and I had such low self-esteem, and I couldn't get a job, keep a job, couldn't get my life together, and I was forced to live with her parents and her 5 siblings. And one day I looked in the mirror and I said, Mike, you're a loser. But I could handle that. But then I came to the realization that the other 7 people living in that house also knew I was a loser. And out of that humiliation, I walked out on my wife and my daughter. So here's me after that. And looks can be very deceiving. Because I look happy, I just met the Lord. Here's my little daughter who's here today, 34 years old. Okay, but inside I was a mess. I was battling a terrible addiction to cocaine. I still couldn't keep a job. I had no self-worth, no self-esteem. I had no credit. I had no future. I had nothing, no education. And a friend of mine said, Mike, your life is a mess. I know someone might be able to help. So he introduced me to a guy that I can't remember his name. So in my book, I call him the mystery man. And he said, Mike, if you come to my house 1 hour a week for the next 7 weeks, I promise you, you can have everything you want in life. That was the great news. The bad news was it's $50 an hour. I didn't have 50 cents, but I did have a checkbook. So I managed to write a check and cover it each time. And what this man taught me, I'm going to share with you right now. And I promise you, if you do what I say, you follow what I say, and you understand and get it, I'm going to give you a free copy of my book. It's in there. But you literally can have everything you want in your life. It's not magic. It's the way the universe works. It's the way it was created. The first thing the mystery man taught me is you're not your body. Your body is made up of 60 living trillion cells that are conscious, awake. You're just a soul that this body, they created this body. Cells. We started as a single cell amoeba. Over millions of years it covered the planet because cells don't die. And they go, oh, we ran out of room, we ran out of nutrients. And they consciously said, hey, if we're going to continue to evolve, we got to become a multi-cell organism. I'll agree to live 6 weeks. I'll agree to live 9 months, whatever. This is how the body works. Those pictures you saw of me, those bodies are gone. So who is this? Spirit, soul. That's who we truly are, heart and soul. The other thing he said, Mike, you're not your crazy-ass thoughts. Okay? Everybody's got the same crazy-ass thoughts. And they're based on fear. Okay? And the other thing he taught me is they program you. You come into this existence and they want to program you so they can control you. So they tell you their belief systems and their values and no one ever questions them. He said, you got to question everything they taught you. Then he said, this is how the universe really works. It's consciousness. That's who you really are. Tesla said, if you wish to understand the universe, think of energy, frequency, and vibration. All we are, this physical world that you see, which is only less than 1% of the entire universe. The rest of the universe is pitch dark black, nothing. Okay? We operate in this dimension called light. Okay? But everything is frequency and vibration and energy. That's who we are, which is consciousness. Atoms vibrating. You break it down, it's all space. It's really just a dream and illusion. We'll go into that later. Okay, so this is what he taught me. You are consciousness, Mike. You are everything that always has been, is, and will be. You can never die. You're timeless. So here's how you get what you want. He said, Mike, I want you to get quiet. Get quiet and talk to your Creator and figure out what you really want. Well, at that point in life, I wanted my wife back. I wanted my daughter back. I wanted a job. I wanted a career. I wanted all that. So he taught me how to write an intention, write it as all it already existed. Because see, the mind doesn't know the difference between imagination or reality. Because maybe there is no reality. Maybe it's all taking place here. I don't know. But he taught me how to write an intention as already exists. He said, what's the thing you want most? I want my wife and my daughter back. So I wrote an intention as if it already existed, and this woman hated my guts. I walked out on her with a 2-month-old baby daughter. She had nothing to do with me. We've been divorced for years. I love the fact that Lisa and I are so happily married. I love the fact that our daughter Michelle thrives in this marriage. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. That's what I wrote. I ended up with 6 intentions. The sixth one was to give back, how I was going to give back someday. I thought it would be via a boys' home. Now it's serving others with cancer. So once we wrote those intentions on week 7, he said, okay, now we're going to put some power to it. And he gave me a relaxation script. He took out a boom box with theta brainwave music in it, frequency, energy. Everything is frequency. You think I'm speaking words right now. I'm not. I'm putting out vibration. That vibration goes into your eardrum and into your brain. Your brain digitalizes my vibration, and you hear language. But I'm not speaking language. I'm putting vibrations. Everything is vibration. You're vibrating. The higher you vibrate, the closer you are to your Creator. So he had me record it. I left his house. $350 later, 7 weeks with a cassette tape. I don't think they make those anymore. On it were 6 intentions, a relaxation script. I've just created an app. I've made it simple for people to do this. The app's embedded with the music. It's all in my book. And he said, listen to it. Listen to it every morning, every night. Everything will come true. A couple years later, my wife called me up and said, hey, I could use a date for a Christmas party. Will you go? We were married 6 months later, had 3 more beautiful children. After 16 years, we eventually grew apart because things happen. But that's okay. We're still friends. We're still raising our children, grandchildren. Nothing's forever. I listened. Got my own business. Made a lot of money. Became very wealthy. But I realized that doesn't mean anything. What matters is who you are here and what you do with it. Heart and soul. Love and service. I think I just did something. 7th step of this 7-step process, if we all got on a plane right now, we flew to Hawaii, we would be off course 95% of the time. Why? Because we're flying over a rock, spinning around, going nowhere. Because of wind. What's the pilot doing 95% of the time, or automatic pilot? Putting it back on course. So he said, Mike, if the intention takes you in another direction, don't worry about it. Stay in conscious contact with your Creator. When one door closes, another one will open. This works. This is biblical. Luke 6:38 says, ask and you shall receive. Shaken together, overflowing. The more you give, the more you're blessed. You cannot outgive God, believe me. There's one principle my mother taught me that I credit for so much of my success is that principle. If I drop this, I can drop this all day long. All day long it's going to hit the floor. That's called gravity, the law of gravity. That's the material world. In the spiritual world, there's a law called reciprocity. The more you give, the more you receive. The clearer the agenda, the purer the heart, the purer the motive, the more you receive. 10-fold, 50-fold, 100 times. I might give someone money and be blessed with great love or great people in my life. This works. This is not BS. I promise you. All of this is real. This is how it comes to be. It starts as a desire, whatever you want. You get a plan from the one infinite mind of God, and you work it, and you listen, and you visualize. Everything starts that way. iPhone, desire, Steve Jobs, plan, connection to the Creator, iPhone. Everything that comes into existence. God said, let there be light, said, spoke. Let there be light, there was light. Let there be animals, there were animals. What I've learned recently, because I'm really, really into teaching others how to have physical health. The better I take care of my body, the temple of the Lord that houses my soul, the better I feel physically. The better I feel physically, the stronger my thoughts, the more powerful my thoughts, the more powerful my desires. And when I'm congruent, someone was talking earlier today about congruency, when I'm totally congruent, mind, body, heart, and soul, guess what? I have direct contact to the Creator of the universe. When you get in your car today and you go home and you turn on the radio, boom. Frequency, vibrating with information, hits your antenna, comes out of your stereo. This is how the universe works. Music, that's how you get it. So imagine being a walking antenna with a direct link, GPS link to the Creator and the one mind of all of this. Imagine how powerful your life can be. Imagine how you can shift everything in your own personal life, but more importantly, in the consciousness of this entire planet. That's the book I'm writing right now. It's halfway done, called The Creation Frequency. 7 steps to get anything you truly desire in your life. And the bigger you play in love and service, and the less you play in the material world of things and stuff that doesn't mean much, the stronger, more powerful you can become. You know, I know this. I use it. I have everything I want, so I don't use it that much anymore. Except I got tired about 10 months ago, exactly almost 10 months ago. I got tired of being alone and going home alone. And I don't cook, so I didn't have to worry about that. But I got tired of eating out. And I just got tired of being lonely. We're meant to have a companion. So I went home 10 months ago, pulled out my book, wrote my intention, who I wanted in my life. I took out my iPhone. I put some theta brainwave music frequency on my iPad. And I recorded exactly who I wanted in my life. I listened to it 3 times, and then I got an email from a beautiful woman that said, "I'd like to meet you," who's here in the front row today. Okay, this works. This works. But here's the hardest thing we got to do is get clear on what we want. But before you figure out what you want, you got to figure out who you are. And who you are is all powerful. Everything. It's infinite. See, we're taught to believe there's limitations. There are no limitations. They're all in the mind, and they're BS. Jesus said, "Say unto that mountain, move, and it will move." He was right. I believe he was right because the mountain's not even there, but that's another story. So I invite you to go with me from this day forward out into the world in whatever role you can play, whether it be big or large. It could be a simple smile. It could be $5 to a homeless person. It could be loving your spouse better, your significant other. Being more kind and gentle, compassion. I wear a bracelet on my wrist. I've worn it for many years now. Oh, that's my Lighten Up bracelet. I have another bracelet now, Lighten Up. And I get one from Sandra. I have 3. It says, "Be a good man," which is one of the... When my wife's mother asks Margot, "What it is you want from us from the rest of our life?" She said, "Be a good man." So I wear that reminder. And if you want to donate a dollar to our foundation, I'll give you one. And then I have 3 C's, my wife taught me. Conviction, courage, and compassion. Live your life with three C's. Courage, conviction, compassion. And then there's 3 others. Together, forever, wherever. So if you lost a loved one, they're still here. You can never be apart. It doesn't work that way. There's no separation between you and me. We're all connected. We all started from the source. I don't care if you believe the creation frequency or the Big Bang. It doesn't matter to me because they're all the same. Okay? But we started at the source. The universe is still expanding. We're part of that expansion. We are eternal and timeless. I'm going to leave you with one story. And I'll stick around after my dear friend Toby speaks. I'd be happy to sign a book and give it to you. And share anything if you have any questions, because I ran a little long here. So, my favorite story, I'm going to share with you. A man goes to God. He says, "God, I'm not sure how I want to live my life. Would you mind showing me what heaven's like and what's hell's like so I can make a decision?" God really liked this guy. He said, "Okay, I'll do it just for you." So he took this man down to hell. And there was this amazing banquet table full of every amazing food you could ever want and desire. But sitting on the chairs on each side of the table, the people were just bones. And they were groaning, and they were crying, and they were miserable, and they were suffering beyond anything you could ever imagine. Because, see, God had taken a 4-foot fork and attached it to part of their arm. And they couldn't take the fork and put the fork on the food and get it into their mouth. It just wouldn't work. So then God said, "Let's go up to heaven." So the man went up to heaven with God, and there was the exact same banquet table, all the great food you could ever imagine. Except all the people were healthy and happy and jovial and amazingly at peace and full of love. Same thing, same fork. But you see, in heaven, they were using that 4-foot fork to feed the person across from them. See, this is what the world needs now. Everybody want me, more. I chased more. Okay? I know what it's like. You'll never get fulfilled. I had a $4 million house. Okay? That's not fulfillment. I can travel anywhere I want. That's not fulfillment. What's fulfillment is sitting there with those women and giving them hope and love and trying to bless their life. That nothing will ever fill you up like that. And when you understand who you really are, which is love, then you are compelled to serve others. Thank you.
We just wanted to know what your favorite part about the speech was, or something that you found inspirational, or something that touched home with you.
His frequency in the room, like you could feel his passion, and then just speaking about all his life experiences coming through a place that wasn't so positive, and making a difference, not becoming a victim, and continuing to move forward. So it felt like it really shifted the whole energy in the room and the whole feeling of the crowd.
Got it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it very much.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We just want to know what your favorite part about the speech was, or what you found.
Whose speech?
Mike Murphy's.
What I'm going to take away is that vibration.
Vibration?
Yeah, of what I want. So
The energy, or?
just to do the vibration. I think
Okay,
I'm gonna,
yeah.
I think that's what I'm going to take away from today.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate
Welcome.
it.
Yeah, thank you.
Excuse me, can we ask you a question real quick for the camera?
Sure.
We just want to know what your favorite part about the speech was, or something that you found inspirational, or something that hit home with you.
I would say that actually Michael's entire talk was inspirational to me. I loved hearing about his journey. I appreciated the message about manifestation and being in charge of your own destiny. I loved learning about the work that he's doing and spreading the love. So I really enjoyed his entire talk.
Perfect.
I look forward to reading the book.
Good deal.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
How about you, man? What was your favorite part?
I just thought it was inspirational how he helps out other people, with their problems, and even though he doesn't get much out of it, he gets, he gets to see them, get a lot out of it.
And what brought you here today?
I just wanted to come visit him, see him, inspiration. I want to see his speech.
Right on, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
A couple questions real quick for the camera. Just wanted to know what your favorite part about the speech was.
Favorite part of the speech? Oh, my goodness.
What did you find inspiring?
Well, his life story was inspiring. How he started from nowhere and had such a bad start, and how he turned it all around with the 7 steps thing. But I really enjoyed how he took his grief from his wife's death and made it something so positive, and it's very inspiring. My husband died, but not of cancer, but just seeing what he did with that, I haven't done that with my life. I'm kind of tempted to follow it.
So it related
like
to your
maybe
personal...
retire. Yeah, maybe I might retire, and then I will definitely do something good, and hearing what he had to say pushed me in that way.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let me just say, having just lost my husband, many things that he said resonated in me, in my body, mind, and spirit. I appreciate his insights.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I don't know. I met Mike at a really low point in my life, and I feel like Mike has been a very positive beacon in my life.
So you knew Mike before the speech?
Well, I met Mike at his business.
Okay.
Where I
Yeah, I worked there.
You worked there. Okay.
Supposed to be there right now.
Yeah. Oh well. And I didn't have anything to do with the foundation, but it just Mike himself as a person really made a humongous difference in my life, and it is. I don't know. Now I feel shy, but I feel that he's very inspirational, and I'm really happy that he's actually going out and helping other people too. And he's a great speaker, a great person, and I feel like that I'm happy that I got to meet Toby too through Mike, I guess, through this, and I guess I don't know.
It's all
I'm happy
good.
that he's going out and.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I'm not loud enough. I'm usually pretty loud.
Not very good at this either.
I guess I'm thankful to this. Mike sent me a copy of this via email a long time ago. I read it. It's amazing. And so it's just continued to kind of make me grow and become better,
Cool.
I guess. I feel better. Anyway, thanks, Mike.
All right, thank you very much.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
I think that all of us need to give back. I've been in the wellness industry for years and years, and I think Michael has a gift for making people kind of rally around each other and learn how to give back, not only to cancer patients, but just in the world in general.
Cool.
It's a great speaker.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
You know what? I felt weepy through the entire thing. It really touched my heart. And the discussion about we're not separated, that we're all connected, and that giving back is what truly makes you happy and fulfilled. It just completely touched my heart.
Well said.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.